So basically, what we're going to be doing in this session is basically trying to let our viewers watching this right now to understand the basic differences and talk about a few things that they can relate to from our life experiences and how branding, right, and marketing has played its role in could possibly do the same thing for them. So if you're game, I'm game.
Okay.
All right. So I think I'm just going to start first of all. Basically, a lot of people tend to talk about branding and marketing, and they feel like branding and marketing are the same thing, but there is a clear cut difference, like I said earlier, between branding and marketing. I think someone just joined right now. Um, for example, I tell people that marketing is more like the how, right? It's more like you is what you do to like get um how do I even put it? To get the attention of people, right? But branding goes beyond what you're actually putting out there. Branding is you looking inwards, right? Trying to understand your core essence, why you do the thing. You're a comedian is wanting to. Hi, Rena. He said, "Oh, Mr. Blackman."
Why, Mr. Blackman?
Hi, Rena. I'm seeing 12 people join here. If you're just joining right now, my name is Fortune, and I'm live with my wife, Annalise, and we're basically going to be talking about branding and marketing, right? The difference between branding and marketing, because I know that this is one topic that people tend to use interchangeably, right? This is one topic that tends to be problematic for people. So we're just trying to bring perspective to that and to see how we could actually, or how you could actually leverage the both of them for building your personal brand, your business brand, or whatnot out there. So, like I was saying before, Rena joined, and Rena, please, where are you watching from? Because she said, "Oh, Mr. Blackman,
Why
it feels
I
like
was asking why Blackman?
it feels like you're not from around here, but that's fine. This is like all inclusive. So I mean, so we're streaming live from Nigeria currently. So precisely the city of Port Harcourt, right? So basically, what I was trying to say is, Annalise, what are you doing with the green screen?
Made you.
Okay. So basically, sorry, give me a minute. Let me confirm something. Okay, yeah. So basically, what I was saying is, believe me, one of my dreams to be black, better than white. I don't understand, Mister Rena. Are you male or female? No white, yes black. Okay, are you black or you're white? But I mean, this is not a black or white thing. Whether you're black or whether you're white, it doesn't make any difference. We still love you and we accept you the way you are. Because I mean, this is an all-inclusive platform. We don't segregate. We don't discriminate, right? So I believe white, black, whatever, we're all together in this. Hi, Pink Rose. I can see you. Welcome, welcome. Please, she's laughing, or he is laughing. She's laughing. Prominent in
Think I
white.
should
I
be
want
a
to be
girl.
black. Okay, Rena is saying Rena is white but wants to be black. Why? I mean, be comfortable in your skin. Hello, Joy. Welcome, Joy. Welcome, Joy. So, Pink Rose, he said, okay, you're asking Rena why. Yeah, but why do you want to be white? I mean, why do you want to be black? You should be comfortable in your skin. I mean, we're all the same. I don't see no black. I don't see white. All I see is you. So, before we digress so much, we're talking about branding versus marketing and trying to put a perspective to this because I believe a lot of people tend to like use the two terms interchangeably, but they are not the same thing. So previously you have okay. Let me just throw this to you. For example, you see Five Alive, right? You see I think there's Five Alive. There's Five Alive Poppy. There is Orange, right? So We know that if you drink Five Alive Poppy, you're definitely going to have some touches of orange inside of it. And there was a day I went to buy something somewhere, right? And I told the woman I wanted to get Five Alive Poppy. She was like, she gave me one of those drinks, and I was like, this is not Five Alive Poppy. And then she goes like, that's Five Alive Poppy. I said, no, that's not Five Alive Poppy because I know the difference. You see, those, what do they call it? Peaches, right? Peaches, I believe, whatever it's called. So I couldn't feel it. Like what I drank was plain, was bland, right? I was like,
You
no,
mean the orange
this,
pulp?
yes, exactly,
Oh, okay.
exactly. So I was like, no, this is not poppy. There is a clear difference between this. A bit right now because black smart more than white because I saw all scary movie like Screams and 13 Friday Night. The black man smart. Okay, all right. Regardless, Rena, I will still say to you, be comfortable in your skin, right? The same way you may look at black people and you feel like, oh, black people are all smart, all nice, all. I mean, there are places, there are people who are black who are bad people. There are people who are white who are bad people, and there are people who are white who are nice people, right? So I don't believe it's a color thing. I don't believe it's a skin thing. I believe it has to do with personality. If you're good, you're good. That's just it. You don't have to be black. I mean, I could be white. I mean, and I'll still be me. You don't have to change your skin color for anybody. Be comfortable in your skin. And you know the funny thing about this, I'm going to digress now since Rena has really been on this, so I think I'll just digress to talk about this briefly. The people that you see out there and you admire all have their weaknesses, and the people that you see out there that you see their flaws being projected in public also have their strengths as well that people would like enjoy or like. It's just for example now. Let me just paint this scenario to you. If you're walking somewhere and then you see this guy, he's acting rude towards a particular woman, and he's like, "Oh, you're insane, you're crazy," calling, I mean, all manner of curse words. You could just conclude that this guy is a bad guy. This guy is rude. But now there are so many factors, and I like to think that rude, bad is relative, right? And it has a lot to do with cultural context because what could be bad in my culture may be good in your culture, right? So you see, this guy is bad, this guy is whatever, right? It could be that this guy is having a bad day. It could be that he was triggered or something. And then you now hear somebody who knows this guy talk about the guy. And the person's like, this guy is a very good guy after all. And then you're like, no, until one day you get to meet and experience the niceness or the good side of this guy. So Rena, it doesn't have to do with black or white. I mean, we are all the same. Um, and something else, the better boxers are black, like Mike Tyson. Faster people are black. The richest man in the history is black. This is a safe space. This is a safe space, Rena. So black, white, you're all accepted. Annalise, you want to say something about this before we go on?
It's basically all he said. Yeah, we don't see color over here. Everybody is equal. Everybody is unique, right? What you have, what makes you a person
Respect, Rena.
is different from another person. Yeah. So it's not about the color of your skin. It's more about you as a person and what you have to offer. So let's just focus on that and not on something else. Yeah. That's just it. Yeah.
Respect, Rena. Rena, where are you chatting from? Where are you seeing this live video from? What country are you chatting from? Where are you from? I'm chatting from Nigeria, Port Harcourt to be precise. Um, likewise, you, Anna, right? We're all in Nigeria. You're from Palestine. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Respect, Rena. Respect. Much love from Nigeria, right? Okay, so back to what I was talking about, branding versus marketing, right? So branding, right, is the core essence. Joy says she's from Ontario, Canada. Oh, Much love from Nigeria, Port Harcourt, Joy. I see you. Right. You guys, check Joy out. She's a really, really good copywriter from Ontario, Canada. She's a really, really good copywriter. I mean, if you were looking at building a sustainable income for yourself through writing or freelancing, she's your go-to person. All right, so back to branding versus marketing, right? So branding is the core essence. I see a lot of people these days positioning to be roles, right? For example, I made a post on my um Facebook, my Instagram, and that post went viral. I mean, people have been like commenting, sending me DMs about that and sharing on their Facebook feed and all that stuff. So I just thought to like put it out there, right? I said that when you're building a brand for yourself, a personal brand for yourself, one of the things that you want to be intentional about doing is not um, building your brand around your skills, but building your skills around your brand, around your personal brand. And there is a big difference between the two. I said if you're building your personal brand around your skills, it's limiting, it constricts you, it constrains you from actually branching out in the future, from actually exploring other areas of yourself, of the person or the brand called you. And one of the things about human beings is that human beings are naturally wired to be multidimensional, right? You can see someone, she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a sister, her roles will change over time. She's a boss at the office, she's a worker in church, she's a whatnot, right? So we are wired to be multi-dimensional. So putting yourself in that box, right, is not one of the things that I would encourage. I would like to say it this way that if you're positioning, right, the skill set or whatever you do can be an entry point, right? Can be an entry point for you to get people to you. So it's more like a bait, but it is not the main thing itself. So whatever you're doing right now, whatever skill, whatever you're projecting out there, is not the main thing. It's more like a bait to introduce people to the world of the brand called you. So I said you want to build your personal brand around, you want to build your skills or position strategically your skills around your brand and not the other way around. And one of the things about personal branding is that you want to brand what you do, right? And I was saying, okay, you're not brand your skills, not your hobby, right? So in as much as yes, because I'm going to create a balance, in as much as you do so many other things, right? You have to be strategic when it comes to building your personal brand, right? One of the things that you want to position out there is your personality, number one, first of all, and then the things that you do. And you have to also be strategic in that. So Joy is saying, yeah, especially women. Yeah, that's true. That's true, actually. Um, I've noticed that. So I tell people that if all you're doing as a brand is positioning yourself as what you do, there are other people doing the same thing. If you're competing at the value proposition level, you're competing on a shallow ground, right? And what is going to separate you from the other people doing what you're doing? They can even be doing it better than you, right? But one of the things that is going to make you stand out is the core essence of your brand. So why are you doing what you're doing? If you're selling, if you're a banker, if you're a lawyer, whatnot, why are you doing what you're doing? What's your philosophy in life? What are the guiding principles that help you do what you do? For me, right, my core is basically I believe every single thing I do, I am called, I am sent, however you want to look at it, to help or act as a catalyst to help people become what the best version of themselves. So I try to live out. I said it, I think, on my Instagram bio. Um, on a mission to impact or empower or help a million people to become the better version of themselves. And personal branding is my tool amidst other things I do, right? So that means I have other tools to still help me achieve that same goal. So the thing is that once you get these people to come because of your skill, right, you want to make them fall in love with your personality. If you make them fall in love with your personality, you can easily pivot your brand tomorrow and you will still be relevant and your message will still be the same, right? Welcome, Mark Black, and your message will still what be the same. So they're not going to be confused. Like, I thought she was a caterer before. Why is she now doing this? I mean, is she confused? No, right? If you are branding from your core, from the core essence of why you exist, your ideologies, right? You're branding from an ideological level. People can literally see it like it's clear as day. So they can tell you that okay, this is what this person is about at their core, right? Um, Annalise, you want to say something about that, right? Because I know, like hearing your story, you're also quite a multidimensional person, and I believe you have a lot to say regarding this. So let's hear it from your own experience before I go further into what we have to talk about.
Okay, so personally, I would really just like to. There's a question.
Okay. Shouldn't people know and fall in love with you for something first before they fall in love with your personality? Yeah, that's what I said. I said it like what you do is a bait. That's how I look at it. I just feel like okay, I don't want to go all religious here or spiritual because one of the things, one of the guiding principles for my life personally is from the scripture that talks about the parable of the talents, right? I feel like my life is I'm too loaded to be just tagged one thing, right? I feel that's an insult to the investment of grace or whatever upon my life, right? So not to alienate those who are not Christians, right? So I said when you're doing something, you can start out as, and it's okay to start out as something and become something later. Don't let anybody put you try to restrict you or make you feel like you're confused for doing that. No, it's okay to make one. In fact, one of the things I wish I realized early, like men make mistakes. Anybody who meets me right now to tell me that okay, I want to build my personal brand, you already have one, right? So what we're trying to do is strategically position your personal brand because it already exists. So I will tell you, make as many mistakes as many of them as possible, because it's going to help you to find out what works for you. So one of the things you want to do is to get people in because of your skill, right, or whatever you're doing, but don't leave them there. Try as much as possible to inject or how do I even put it? Becloud their minds with your personality. They get to understand that beyond the writer, they get to understand that beyond the digital marketer, this is who I am, right? This is what I'm about. This is what I believe in. This is the reason I am writing, right? I am not just writing because I want to make money. I'm not just writing because I want to help people make money, right? I am writing because I see writing as a means of expression. I see my writing as something you have to like literally go deep to the core of why you exist. If I ask people this, and I asked this question recently to someone, I was like, if you are given a mic, right, to talk about something to a global audience you've never met before, you have a lot of people out there, and they did not give you a topic to talk about. What are you going to talk about that, number one, they are going to relate with or relate to? Number two, is going to be all inclusive that even if they are not necessarily your target audience, they can literally buy into what you're saying. And the person was thinking for a while. And I said, if you're still thinking about that, then you have a lot of work to do. So it goes. I'm not calling any name. All right. All right. So you should be able to. How do you talk about what you do in a way that is going to make even people who are not in your niche or industry relate to that? So I think that's it. I would have loved to talk about that, but I think I'll just let um Anna, you wanted to say something before I cut you.
About that, guys. Sorry about that.
It's
So
all
you
right.
know how you're talking about personal branding. Personally, I struggled with this thing for years because everything I was seeing on social media was, what is your niche? First of all, like, what do you do professionally? Um, what do you do? There's another question. We'll get to that soon. From Joy still. So that thing, you know, hindered me for a minute because I struggled with how to express myself because I'm a writer. and I design, right? I plan events, I do a couple other things, yeah. And it restricted me because I was struggling with how to express these things in a way that it wouldn't be too much for my community
Mm.
and in a way that I wouldn't also be shortchanging myself. Yeah. But one thing that I've come to realize is if you keep waiting to get all the clarity that you need, you you might not even start in the first place. So basically, you just need an entry point, and it could be as simple or as mundane as sharing personal, details of your day or stuff like that. When I started this whole content creation thing, I started with just videoing certain moments of my day. Then I put it out while I was also practicing something else on the side. And then from that, we've grown to me now talking about what I do as a writer. Do you understand? But I had to have an entry point. For some people, they really do not need that entry point. They can as well just start talking about, their craft and everything. But personally, I needed an entry point because I needed to understand, first of all, the space that I was on because it was foreign to me. And I needed to know how to navigate that whole, how to navigate content creation, social media, and everything. So I started with an entry point, and now I'm talking about something that I love doing amidst other things. But I'm kind of projecting a couple things more than I'm projecting other things, just like you said. Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm basically now, based on what you've explained to us, I'm basically building um my skills around my person and not the other way around.
Mm.
So that's just it. So I would just advise whoever, especially if you're a multi hyphenate creative, find an entry point. You don't have to start with everything, just find an entry point, and before long, you'd be talking about the thing you love or the craft you enjoy the most.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really
Thank
really
you.
nice. Puts perspective to things. I'm seeing Joy's question here. Um, where do you draw the line when building a personal brand? Some people believe that you should have a separate page for your business and your other life. What's your business? The big question I ask people is your life about your business? Or your life is about something more than your business. In fact, if you're in business, why are you in business? I tell people because I asked somebody recently, was it recently or when? I'm like, why are you in business? Like, I'm in business to make profit. I'm in business to make money. I'm like, that's the problem. You're not in business to make. If you think that, or if all the reason you're doing business is just to make money, then you're in it for the wrong reasons, right? You're in business to add value to people's lives, and money is a reward for problem solved, right? So that's one thing. So now, if you're building your personal brand on social media, I would ask people, for example, a lot of people know about Elon Musk, a lot of people know about Richard Branson, a lot of people know about Tony Lumelu, right? Not a lot of people know about Tesla, right? Not a lot of people know about SpaceX and the rest of it. The truth is that your personal brand is your biggest investment. Your personal brand is what is even going to help your business even sell. So when you talk about creating like different pages for it, fine. If you say, okay, you want to create a business page, then let it be a business, right? So it's a business. It has its own vision statement. It has its mission statement. It has its brand name, right? So you have that as your business. But whatever you're doing in your business is going to be taking root from your core, right? So your personal brand, one way or the other, is still going to rub into why you're doing that business. Now, I believe that everything to create the balance, right, is storytelling. There are two ways that this can go. If you say, okay, you want to build your personal brand, if you're a multi-potentialist, for example, and you have like different skill sets, you have different skill sets, and you're like, oh, I'm good in this, I'm good in that, I'm good in this, and I want to give all of them expression, right? And now you want to build your personal brand on social media. You're like, okay, let me create a different page for my photography. Let me create a different page for my videography. Let me create a different page for writing, right? It's good. That's one way to do it, but it has its pros and cons. The con is that you're going to have creative burnouts. You're going to get tired because you have to create content for this, you have to create content for this, and you have to create content for that. And social media feeds on content. So one of the things I would usually advise people is to look for a connecting team, right? So let's say you're a photographer, you're a videographer, you're a writer, and you're an SEO expert and whatnot. You want to look for a connecting team that you can use to tie this together so that when you're making your content on your social media, you're able to still weave them in without losing your core. That's why remember what I said. I said that this is a problem when what you're doing, you're branding from the value proposition level, right? If while you're branding, your brand is around your value proposition, it's going to be a problem for you because people will be confused. Why are you bringing this or that guy up? But if you're branding from an ideological, a philosophical level, right? People will be able to still connect the dots, especially if you have like a linking team that links this skill with that skill. So why are you doing photography? Why are you doing videography? Why are you writing? What is the reason? Would you have one connecting team that brings them together? Now, if you have the connecting team, if you have that connecting team that brings them together, the next thing that you want to be intentional about doing is if you have connecting team, the next thing you want to be intentional about doing is to have your content pillars, right? So you have to choose between these themes, right? Which of them is going to be like your dominant stuff you're going to be putting out there. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not still pushing out the other ones, but there is one that is your core. You can still have it on one platform, right? But now you have to now look for storytelling. I was invited recently to train a real estate company staff um, in my city where I reside, and then I was teaching them about personal branding and all that stuff. And so they asked, what was that question they even asked again? And I talked about me, for example, right? I am into faith, like I am a Christian content creator, so to speak. I'm a personal brand catalyst. I'm a digital marketer. I'm a copywriter, right? I do other things, SEO. In fact, I'm a full stack digital marketer. I'm a web designer. I wear like several hats, right? But I told them that one of the things I'm intentional about doing is looking for a team to connect them together. So if you check my post, for example, if I'm talking about personal branding, by the time you follow me for a while, you're going to tell that this guy is not just a personal brand strategist. This guy is also in quotes a minister, or this guy is a Christian content creator. You can tell it's crystal clear. And I made a post on one Sunday like that, and I was talking about branding, but from the lenses of Jesus Christ, right? I was like, he died and rose and he's no longer on the earth, but his impact that he made over 2000, 3000 years ago is still here till today, right? And that's because Jesus Christ was able to build a strong personal brand in the time that there was no social media or internet or whatnot. You get so they would look at that post and they see that this guy is actually talking about personal branding, right? Which is one of the themes that he has, or one of the content um, um, stuff he has going on his social media, and they can still see that I'm still bringing my faith in. So either way is there, the balance is there. And when on the other hand, I'm talking about personal branding, I can still bring my faith in. When I'm talking about my faith, I can still bring personal branding in. So, and this frees me, right? I can also talk about personal development, and I wouldn't be wrong for doing that. Why can I talk about personal development and personal branding? Because if you're looking at personal branding, at the core of personal branding, what you're doing is still personal development. Why are you teaching people how to build their personal brand? Why are you teaching them how to market themselves out there? Right? At the end of the day, what you're doing is still personal development. Now, while you're teaching people personal branding, you're still giving them motivation. So at the end of the day, you're still a motivational speaker. So do you not see how like everything is just ties together because there is a core, there is a binding cord that ties everything together. For me, I said that my binding cord is that the Fortune will be the brand at his core or his best is called to empower or to act as a catalyst to help people become the best version of themselves. And how I tend to get this out there depends on me, right? So tomorrow I can decide to, okay, stop talking about personal branding, right? If my life my choices or the things I have flair for change over time, I will pivot as well, right? But while I'm pivoting, I still have at the core that I am sent to help people become better. So I'm not going to look for another means to still live out that big why. So I hope that answers your question. And when you talk about your other life, because she's asking here, where do you draw the line between when building a personal brand? Some people believe you should have a separate page for your business and your other life, right? So, what is your other life and what is your business? Back that brings me back to the drawing board, anyways. So that's what I believe. If you're building a business, then build a business. You can brand it whatever you want to brand it, and it's there, right? That's your business. Your personal brand will still play a role in still on pushing that business. But the difference between your business and your personal brand is that your personal brand is built around your person, around your personality. That's why it is called personal brand in the first place. And that's why it is called business brand. So I hope this makes um some sense. Annalise, you want to say something about that? I'm seeing like a few more people joined. If you're just joining now, let us know where you're watching from. Right. My name is Fortune Wobidi, and I am a catalyst, a personal brand catalyst and digital marketer par excellence. And I am excited to have you join me right here. So I'm chatting or making this video right from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. So let me know where you are watching this video from. So yeah, Annalise, you can go ahead.
Okay, to answer the first part of the question, I would say that your personal brand, just like Fortune has clearly stated several times, the personal brand is should be centered around you as a person. So it should have your values, things that you're very much interested in and what you want to project. So that's what your personal brand should be about. And like I said earlier, you should find like a starting point. I personally do not have anything wrong with separating your business from your personal brand. There are a lot of people that do not really want to put everything that they do in one place. They want to separate it. They want to have, a page that is strictly for business, and it also depends on the kind of people that they're looking to attract, basically. So there are people that want to have that and then have their personal page where they can post, stuff about themselves on there as well. But I don't really think it's a problem. It just depends on what kind of style you're going for. I don't have the technical terms. Oga here will help us with all those jargons. But I feel like um, it basically depends on how you want to position yourself. If you're comfortable merging everything that you are as a person and expressing all of that on one platform, then please go ahead. Yeah. But your messaging should be clear, irrespective of the number of things you want to combine. It should be clear. We do not want to confuse your audience in any way. Okay, so let me just give this example. A couple days back, somebody texted me and she was like, "Oh, Anna, you're very particular about personal development. It's in every post you make. I see on your stories. How do I go about content creation? How do I know where to start from?" So I now asked her a question. I was like, I sent her your post too. I sent
My
her your
post?
post.
Are you
Yes,
serious?
I sent her your post. That post about putting building your brand around your skills and everything.
Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I sent her that post. But before I sent her that post, I asked her a question. I was like, okay, so when you look at my page, what do you see? I was expecting her to say confusion because because currently that's mostly what you see on my page, yeah, because of all the challenges I've been doing back and forth. But she was like, "Oh no, all I see is personal development and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, is that all you see?" She was like, "Well, I see elements of design. From your bio, I see that you're interested in people, you're interested in writing, you're interested in design." And I'm like, okay, so what stands out the most? She was like personal development. I said, that's the essence, right? You can see that primarily I am very particular about personal development, irrespective of the other things that I'm doing as well. It is true that I do not have it properly positioned, which is something we're working on, but you can still see my interest irrespective of all of that. So, like I said, if you really want to have all those your skills shine on your page, then please go ahead. You can maybe decide, okay, you have highlights, use your highlights to highlight certain aspects of yourself, use your feed to highlight certain aspects of yourself, and then use your stories for something else. So maybe when someone is coming to your page, they know that, okay, this is what to expect when they come to your feed. This is what they would expect on your highlights, and this is what they'll expect on your stories. You can decide to segment it like that. You can decide to segment it like that. Do you understand? So yeah, that's basically my take on it. And once again, let me just reiterate that it is not a problem to have these aspects of your life differentiated across different platforms. It just depends on your preference, of course. Thank you.
Okay, so back to I will still talk about this for multi-potentialites, right? Now there are three ways that you can have I like would like to categorize them in three ways for your brand. I'm coming to your question how do you take branding, personal branding beyond social media, but let me just put this. Yeah, I can see that question, but before I go there, let me just do this. Now, three ways, right? Especially for multi potential lights that you can actually build your brand. There's the exploratory phase, right? There is the focus phase, and there is the integrated phase. Now, the exploratory phase is where you're putting so many things, all the things that you do, all at once at the same time. It may not necessarily be structured, so to speak. At that point, you're still trying to find um, your core. So you can see people at this stage, you see they can have like different pages, right, for the same thing. Because for multiple, except the person is like the person that they gave the one talent, right? So they will be okay with just doing one thing. But if they're multi potentialites, if they're just projecting one thing over time, it becomes boring to them, right? So at the exploratory phase, you see them put out different pages at the same time and trying to push all that. But now we have the focus. The focus is where we have just one particular thing. That's what they know you predominantly for. It doesn't mean that you don't still put out other things, right? But they predominantly know you for that thing. But now the integrated phase now is where you're able to weave in every aspect of you. In fact, that's your superpower. I like to tell multi-potentialites, for example, you are the niche. Stop. In fact, we shouldn't. Don't even look at it as niche. Look at it as layers, right? You have different layers of yourself, right? And not necessarily because if you look at it from a niche perspective, you'll be limiting yourself. So that's for that. So how do you take your personal branding beyond social media? Very interesting question. There are so many avenues that you can actually do that. Your everyday life, the way you interact with people, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you smile, the experience basically that people have when you walk into the room and when you walk out of the room. Because I know it's one thing when you walk into the room, the next is when you walk out of the room, right? So you want to be intentional about that. How you show up, how you speak, if you're speaking online, if your voice online is authoritative and in person it's not that way, your brand is not consistent. And one of the big A's that we always talk about in personal branding is authenticity, right? You have to be authentic. And being authentic is the way you are online is the way you are offline. If they catch you anywhere, it is still the same person, right? Now you have to be intentional about networking with people, and you can also do this online as well, right? Go for events, um, have official photo shoots, right? Have your official photo shoots. You can go on tours if you can schedule tours. Start building relationship with media professionals on ground. Leverage traditional media. So these are different aspects that you can actually do. And one of the things that you can also do is to meaningfully contribute to your society by collaboration, right? So you want to look at people whose values, and that I didn't talk about that because you can't talk about personal branding without talking about values, right? Look for people whose values align with yours and who are already doing well or who have the prospect of doing well in the future, right? And see how you can partner with those people. And you guys should bring up things together to stay relevant, right? You can design programs, you can design events. Events is one of the very, very, very strong ways to actually push your personal brand, especially if it's on ground, right? Because that one brings people physically to you. The whole essence of whatever you're doing is you want to get as much people to encounter you at different touch points. So how do you get these people to encounter you? They should just encounter you first of all, whether it's online or offline. They should encounter you. So you want to have your business cards, right, that has outlined the things that you do. So when you show up at an event and you talk to people, oh, try to network, introduce yourself, and then you want to be intentional about having a very, very good elevator pitch and a very strong brand message. And the whole concept of elevator pitch is if you're in an elevator and you have to get down in, like, let's say 30 seconds, right? Or less, and then you have somebody that you met in the elevator and you have to like introduce yourself to the person, like talking about everything about you, like what makes you you, to sell yourself, let's put it that way, to that person in less than 30 seconds. What are the things you're going to say? Are you going to start being like you start beating about the bush? So your elevator pitch helps you to have that all put together. So when you walk to people, you shake your hands, and there are certain keywords that you cannot do without when you're putting your elevator pitch out there. For example, if I'm talking, you hear me use words like catalyst. I am very intentional about using catalyst. I won't say expert. Yes, I know people through my different work over the years, people have called me different things. I've called myself different things: personal brand gospeler, personal branding connoisseur, personal brand strategist, personal brand expert. I am all those things, right? But what I feel resonates more with my why, and this comes back to your why, is catalyst. So who is a catalyst, right? You're a link, right? You are enhancer, an enhancer. So I like to introduce myself as, and that's not conventional, because you see a lot of people say, okay, I'm a personal branding expert, but you don't see a lot of people say I'm a personal brand catalyst. Do you now see how it goes? So it now makes it a little bit unique. So when I'm introducing myself and I'm crafting my elevator pitch, there are certain keywords that I cannot do without. They have to be there. So if you're trying to push yourself physically of social media, you have to have a strong elevator pitch so that whenever you walk up to people to introduce yourself, you can easily just reinforce that when you talk with them. So even if they leave you, you see they still have, they may not remember your name, right? But they'll remember how you made them feel. Yes. They remember how you made them feel. There are certain words that you use and they'll just be like, they may not even, they will just remember, oh, this person is a catalyst, is a whatever, whatever. It just registered in their subconscious, right? So I said you want to be intentional about collaborating with people offline. You want to network as much as possible. You want to build relationship with the media and with the people, right? Radio stations, TV stations, um, you want to do all those things, right? So these are just a few ways. I have a course on personal branding where I took my time to literally explain this, although I am still trying to refine it to update it, because that course I created that course like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So I'm updating it, and I'm gonna let you guys know when that is ready. So I think, yeah, Mark Black is saying I like that several layers. Yes, I call them layers, so not just necessarily niches, right? We can leave the niches for those people who are one dimensional, and it's not bad. If you're one dimensional, it's good. I mean, we bless God. You don't know what God has done for you. That's your strength. So you have one thing, you're just clearly focused on that thing. That's what you're called to do. You focus on it. That's all right. If you want to pivot in future, that's also good. But for those of us who are multidimensional people, I know that these are things that we struggle with on a daily basis. You are like you're good at so many things. It's just like how they sold the age long lights was jack of all trade, master of none. And then we grew up to find out that it's not, they didn't even give us the complete quote. It's jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one, right? So for those of us who are much potential lights and polymaths, it tends to be a problem. So one of the things you want to be able to do is to be able to intentionally craft a narrative around your existence or around your core. And you want to pick your stories. I tell people a lot, when you're building your personal brand, one of the things you want to learn how to do is to document your journey. You cannot do it without writing. The Bible says in Habakkuk 2:2. Sorry guys, I'm going to the Bible again. Write the write the vision upon the tables that he may run that what readeth it. So you want to put it down for people to actually see, right? And then go with that. When you're building a personal brand, should you focus on building a global brand
There
or
was a
focus on
question
local?
before.
Yeah, I'm seeing
There
that.
was a question before. I think
Okay,
Mark. Mark Black asked the question. Can we address this first
Okay,
before
Mark Black's
move on?
question: how do you know when your brand is doing well? So, okay, before I answer Joy's question, how do you know when your brand is doing well? So, one of the things, the foolish things to do is for you to start building a brand without having clearly cut out KPIs. And now, doing well is relative, I like to believe. So, you may be doing well in the lenses of your eyes or your worldview or your cultural experiences and all that. But to me, where I come from, I don't see it as doing well. For example, if I'm in the UK and I am making $10,000, right? You from Nigeria, you may say, "Oh, you're doing so well, you're making a lot of money." But bro, by the time I look at how much I pay in taxes, rent, utility bills, and all that stuff, I look at that $10,000 as small money. So I don't really see myself as doing well in the UK with $10,000. But from Nigeria, you see it as doing well. So doing well is relative, right? So, but one of the things that you want to do to help you manage your expectations, right, is for you to have clearly cut out KPIs. So I'm going on social media, I'm trying to build my personal brand. How can I measure success? You analyze and track always. So how do I measure my impact, right? So do I measure impact by advocacy? So when I've been able to build a tribe or a community around myself, because yes, before I go further, don't mistake these two things, followers and community. They are not the same, right? Yes, you need followers to build a community, but a community is deeper. A community is more like a tribe. A community is a set of people who are bound by the same belief systems, cultures, tradition, whatever you want to call it, right? Whose values align with yours. So you may have followers, but while you're having your followers, try to make sure that you build a community that is closer to you, and you can have them in several layers, right? So that's just an aside. So let's say now you're setting a KPI for your personal brand and you want to look at community building as one of your KPIs to measure your success. You want to look at advocacy. So if I'm building my audience, how many people can I say who are my 1,000 true fans, not the vanity metrics out there? So we talk about the concept of the 1,000 true fans. Who are those 1,000 true fans? Do I know them? Right? Then you want to look at brand advocacy. You want to look at brand loyalty. So when you've built your brand to a particular point whereby your community now owns your brand, you hear them say things like our they assume ownership of your personal brand. You no longer live for yourself, you become public property. So tomorrow if you start doing things that are not in alignment with your vision or are not in alignment with your values, your community will be the ones to call you to order. They'll be like, no, that's not fortune, that's not Anna. No, Anna wouldn't behave like that. No, this post does not look like, and I don't know if you get it, but because that at that point now you've been able to build your brand to a point whereby they have bought into your ideologies, they have bought into your beliefs and the things that make you you. So now they now see themselves as, would I say, see you as an extension of themselves or themselves as an extension? It's just a two-way thing. So if you can see that your KPIs is brand advocacy and community, and you're having that, then your brand is doing well. It doesn't matter what any other person is thinking, right? To help you manage your expectations. All right. So I believe that answers Mark Black's question. I like to think. When you're building a personal brand, should you focus on building a global brand or focus on local relevance as you begin? Right? Like I said, you want to manage expectations so that you're going to save yourself a lot of heartbreaks. Right? So, what I like to advise people is first of all, you have your target audience or your target um, audience segmentation already put in place, right? The next thing you want to do is to know what actually speaks to you. Want to look at the ease of access to those audiences, right? So you're building your brand for the first time. The ease of access to the audiences. First of all, you want to have what we call local relevance. So you want to have local relevance first of all. So as you have the local relevance, then you can now look for having global relevance. But now that doesn't mean that while you're having local relevance, that you're positioning as a local brand. No, it's not the same thing. So you can start, for example, now, and your immediate environment are the people who are around you, right? Make that impact them. Those are going to be your test audiences to even start with to help you to measure whether your brand is actually doing well. Because the truth is that if you start, for example, and you say you want to target a global audience. Now, these global audiences are people who are shaped by different customs, different ideologies, different cultures, right? There are different things that, I mean, they see as valuable. So, if you say you want to just appeal to the global audience at the first glance, you may make a mess of your brand, right? So, you want to first of all start small and then scale. So we call that building a personal brand that scales, because personal brand is actually scalable, right? So start with a local audience, use the audience to test, right? Rinse and repeat, refine. Then you can now gradually broaden your self. And the truth is that the moment you start positioning yourself and putting out valuable content out there, the global audiences will naturally find you. All it takes is just one viral video, two viral videos, and then you're there. Personally, I've had like several videos. Like I've literally lost track of my videos that have gone viral across different social media platforms. I've had one video, I tell people and they think it's a joke. That was on one of my Facebook pages. I had that video do 22 million views in 4 days. What? I was like, this is insane, man. This is insane. 22 million views in 4 days. And in the 4 days that I got the 22 million views from that video, I got over 20,000 followers from just one video. Right? So I go over 20,000 videos, over 20,000 followers from just that one video that got like 22 million views. Right? So the bottom line is the audiences will find you so long as the content you're putting out there is valuable. But then there is a way to actually attract audience through your content strategically, and that's what I'm going to talk about in another video. All right, I think for now, Annalise, do you have like any last words to say? Because I feel like we have to end this now. It's almost an hour. So, any last words?
So yeah, basically, I want to thank you guys for joining this live, and I hope that you've been able to get value that would contribute to your personal brand journey in one way or the other. So until next time, this is Anna. I'm a technical writer and content creator, and I am super excited, and I am super excited to have been on this session. So thank you once more.
Right. Thank you so much. So, last words, like I said earlier, your branding is your why, and then your marketing is your how. So, marketing has to do with focuses more on strategy. So, how you push out what you want to push out. But branding is the why behind whatever you're doing. So, thank you guys. You can see more content on personal branding on my page or my channel here. I think. Hello, Victor Javia. Sorry. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Victor, where are you watching from? I know this other guy. What's his name? He said he was Rena. Rena is from Pakistan. Palestine. Sorry. Rena is from Palestine. Victor. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Please pardon me. Where are you watching from? Let us know. Okay, from Spain. From Spain. Yay. Thank you so much, Vito, for joining. This is Fortune. I'm making this video right here from Nigeria, right? Port Harcourt to be precise. And like I tell people who join my live videos, that this is an all-inclusive platform. It is not, we're not bound by country, right? So we believe everyone is one. So you're watching from Spain, and I'm glad to have you watch from Spain. So we are one. I mean, there's no black, no white, we're all one. And I believe you're going to get more value as you go through the content on my channel on personal branding. And I'm going to be going live from time to time, at least twice a week, henceforth. So please feel free to turn on the post notification, subscribe to the channel first of all, and turn on the post notification. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. Do have an amazing time. Goodbye and peace from here. Bye, Annalise.